Xcloud and Game Pass will make its way to iOS devices despite everything you've heard earlier this year. All that and more coming up. What is going on, guys? I'm Don't Give a Bit over at My Xbox and Me, where we give you the rundown on everything that's going on in the Xbox ecosystem. So if you do enjoy that, be sure to hit the subscribe button. That way you can stay informed each and every week. Now, diving right into it, earlier this week, Microsoft had an all-hands call where Phil Spencer told its employees that xCloud will make its way to iOS devices. Now, if you remember earlier this year, Game Pass and xCloud had a hard time making its way onto iOS devices, mainly due to the strict restrictions that were set in place by Apple devices. Each individual game had to be able to be accessed independently of the xCloud or Game Pass app. Now, that just really didn't fit into what xCloud was supposed to deliver, so instead it looked like Microsoft was just gonna say, forget about it for right now, Apple's not playing nice. Well, now rumor has it that at this all-hands call, Phil Spencer told his employees that it's going to do this by creating a browser application. Now, with this browser application, each individual game wouldn't need to be independently accessed. And this isn't completely out of left field, with Apple and Xbox seeming to be a little bit friendlier with each other in recent talks about how Apple TV is going to be coming to Xbox services. So it only makes sense because this benefits both of them. If iOS devices are able to get Game Pass and xCloud, all that does is increase Xbox's reach with their ecosystem, which is exactly what they were aiming for in the first place. Now, of course, this statement has not yet been made public, but with the source being 2 employees at Xbox, we can only assume that this is true. Now, moving into the next story, it looks like Microsoft could actually be the saving grace that Gamestop actually needed. Now, Gamestop has entered a multi-year contract with Microsoft. So what does that mean? Well, unfortunately, as of yet, it doesn't mean anything too spicy. It just means that Gamestop is going to start utilizing Microsoft Surfaces as well as their 365 Office suite. Mainly because they want to streamline the process at GameStop, but entering this partnership has already boosted up GameStop stocks by about 40%. Now, this is great news for GameStop because we already know GameStops are closing left and right, and they've been hurting for the past couple years at this point. The other good news is that Microsoft has announced that GameStop will be able to use the Microsoft All Access program, which is a monthly purchasing option for the Xbox Series X as well as the Xbox Series S. So instead of doing it directly through Microsoft, you can now do it at GameStop. Now, the interesting thing is where they go from here. How much further do they take this partnership? Will the Xbox store somehow interface with the GameStop store? Maybe your GameStop points start working towards Xbox. Maybe your Xbox points start working towards GameStop. More than likely, none of that's going to happen. But it's interesting how this relationship could develop depending on what they need. We know that GameStop needs backers. It needs money, and doing these partnerships will only benefit them. Now, moving into the next story, we know that next gen is all about that crisp frame rate. So now we have a list of all the games that will be taking use of Xbox Series X in order to achieve that 120 frame rate. Now, at the top of the list, we of course have Call of Duty Black Ops, Devil May Cry 5, the Special Edition, Dirt 5, Exo Mecha, Gears 5, Halo Infinite, Metal Hellslinger, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, Rainbow Six Siege, Second Extinction, Orphan of the Machine. It's cool to know which games are going to be making use of that 120 frames. We've already seen how beautifully some of these backwards compatibility games run, so now I can't wait to see what these games look like at 120 frames on the Xbox Series X. Speaking of new games, The Medium announced its release date of December 10th. Now, The Medium is a game that I'm looking forward to mainly because it's interesting to see how these horror games are going to take advantage of this new hardware. This duality of rendering where you have this normal world versus this horror world just seems like an interesting concept, and it really looks like it's pushing gameplay forward. I can't wait for this game, and it's exciting to know that it finally has its release date. Now, of course, ahead of the Xbox Series X launch, Microsoft has put out this beautiful new trailer, Power Your Dreams, that I do encourage you to watch. It's just a cool trailer. Now, before we get out of here, if you didn't see it yet, I will put a link down to Jeffrey Grubb's channel in the description below. He does a great, fantastic video showing the differences, what Auto HDR is doing for these backwards compatible games, and the heat maps. It's just a great layout. I'm not gonna go into the entire specifications because he did a great job over there, but I do recommend that you check out that video. Now, if you did enjoy this video and you enjoyed the news that you heard, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let us know about that, all right? We do this for you and we wanna make sure that we're doing it right. So if you wanna see any changes, all that good stuff, just give us the heads up.